So I'm going to do a quick video. I promise it's going to be quick today, and that is the take-home lesson from the ABS analysis I did on the death data that you can find on uncensoredwisdom.com. Now, the take-home lesson is that you can weaponize data to say whatever you want. Now, what I found was there was no statistical difference in the deaths in 2020. And why that is actually important is because the ABS has published that there was, and as a consequence of that, there is a narrative that lockdowns, restrictions, and all of the things that was imposed on the general public in 2020 were not only necessary, but they worked. And therefore that they can say to the public, oh, look, all these things worked. Look at 2020, we had lower deaths then. But in fact, the data does not, as I have seen it, support this. Now, you can go look for yourself. I don't want to make any wild claims that could get me banned, but you'll see that in 2015, 2016 and 2018, there were actually higher deaths than there were in they were actually lower deaths, that there were in 2020. So therefore, they can't actually say that it dropped by any significant numbers. And that is, and I think this is actually important, because what it means is that in the future, they may actually use this narrative that 2020 was a great year because look at all the lower rates of death, as a way to justify more lockdowns, more restrictions, more business closures. And we need to hold the people who made these decisions to account, because the data doesn't support the fact that we lowered the death rate in 2020 by doing lockdowns and all the rules, the mandates, and so forth. The mandates that came after the data does actually support the fact that that shouldn't have been done, because in fact the death rates increased after 2021 and 2022. So data is actually really important. It does show us what's going on, but it's how this data is interpreted that will change how people see the world. And I think people need to go back to the raw data, don't believe what I'm saying, don't believe what the ABS is saying. Go back, go look at the raw data and look for yourselves. And also, if things don't make sense, you've got to question it. Like if the ABS is saying things like, there was only 2 influenza deaths in the whole of, 2021. Well, you have to sort of think, well, is that reasonable? Does that make any sense? Another one that I've noticed was drawn attention to recently was that apparently there's been 3 million visas approved to come to Australia this year in 2022. Now, I find that a little far-fetched and hard to believe that they could have got through so much work when, just even getting a tax file number these days takes months. So I just wonder where this huge workforce is coming from that is approving all these visas. So there you go. I'm just going to wind it up now. But that was the take-home message from yesterday's article that was published. It's really important for people to be talking about this, to break this idea that lockdowns worked, because they didn't, and they destroyed a lot of businesses, a lot of families, caused a lot of harm, not socially, economically, on every metric. They did not work, and we shouldn't do this again. Okay, bye.